negosyantes, cheers to a wonderful New Year! Tara na't salubungin natin ang 2015 ng may excitement at positibong pananaw sa buhay. Ako si Michelangelo, ang palaging kasama ninyo sa pagtuklas ng mga winning go negosyo attitudes ng ating mga small and medium entrepreneurs. Dito lang yan sa SME Go, powered by Go Negosyo.
Let's go!
For business to be sustainable, everybody has to progress. The company, the community, and the people. Those fair words came from the gregarious and enthusiastic entrepreneur, Mr. Manny Osmena, the man behind the award-winning Manny O Wines, Advocacy Beach Club, and Movenpick Hotel, Mactan Island, Cebu. Different businesses, all talk of the town. Come and join us and let's discover his entrepreneurial journey and be inspired here on SME Go, powered by Go Negosyo. Manny Osmena has been a wine aficionado for a long time. In 2003, he was encouraged by friends to turn his passion about wine into business. The rest, as they say, is history. Sir, kilala po kayo bilang isang businessman, lalo na po yung mga brand na gaya ng Movenpick, I hope I pronounce it well,
Yes.
Sa Cebu, na talaga namang sikat na sikat at pinupuntahan po ng hindi lang ng mga ordinaryong mga mamayan, kundi ng mga may sinasabi sa lipunan, at syempre, ang Manny O Wines. Now, saan po ba nagmula ang entrepreneurial mindset po ninyo?
Actually, I was born to a family that are all businessmen and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So growing up that way, I guess the subconscious is there that you learn the why and the hows of doing business. I guess that's where I got it.
Okay. What was your first business venture? Baka pwede pong kwentuhan niyo po kami kung paano po at naging ano yung itsura ng unang sabak niyo po sa pagninegosyo.
When I was in high school, I already was very interested to make some money for myself. Because my dad, and I thank him so much now, but at that time, I didn't understand it, is someone that is very hard to get money from.
Okay.
Mahirap maghingi ng pera sa kanya. Since I guess I was built by God to want to have a good life, and not being able to, it's hard to get money from my dad. So since I was a teenager, I already was exploring on different ways to make money, so that I could spend it on the things that I wanna, that would make me happy. And most of it is basically food.
Okay.
I would buy food. Came up with the why and the how. I said if I want to be better than them, because that was always what was taught to me by my grandfather, that you may see that your dad is successful, you have to be more successful.
Parameters of success. Yes.
So that there's what you call an improvement of the generation. Right?
Yes.
If it's a product, how can I take the product and make it better? If it's a business model, how can I make the business model better? Because the first question is why. There's two, let's say in today's world, there's two different types of wine. Same price range, two label. The question is, one sells 1 million bottles, one sells 10,000 bottles. So you have to ask the question why. Then that is when you apply the how. I think that's the two basic thing that has to be asked by a good entrepreneur. An entrepreneur for me has to be someone who is a visionary.
Okay.
He has to be an explorer. He has to be a conqueror. That's why I said, how do I become a good entrepreneur? It has been said all the time that everybody should think out of the box. Me, if you really look at the people that changes the world and changes the way business is done or changes a product, you have to be a little crazy.
That's right.
If you're not crazy, you cannot do that. Then you just go crazy and think of something that is completely incredible and out of this world. With the rules of the game, then from that crazy idea, you can downsize it.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to downsize than to upsize. Take Manny O Wines, for example. I remember when I started to love wine, nobody was talking about, literally nobody was talking about wine in the whole Asia. But I started collecting in the late 70s already. And the reason for that is because, you remember a while ago I told you that my friends think I am a geek, you know, or sometimes even nerd. Why I don't like toys.
And you would rather have food and
Food and books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The same way, I never loved heavy spirits, heavy alcohol.
Yes. Alam niyo sir, yun nga itatanong ko sa inyo.
Until
because,
today, I still cannot say I love heavy spirits.
That's
As much
right.
as now I'm starting to discover that some great Japanese single malt are just incredible.
Okay.
But still, the amount of alcohol is offensive to me.
Okay.
So this is why, because of my business, because after that small trading business, I traveled all over the world when I was 17 years old, selling Philippine products. I didn't make any of it. Anything that is sold in the Philippines, from luxuries to flip-flops.
Okay.
Yeah, I traveled around the world to do that. I think it was 17 or 18, I traveled with a friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away already. We traveled 29 cities in 62 days, all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah. He was in the seaweed business, food preservative business. I was in the trading business. So because of that travel, takes us to all over Europe, US, and some parts of Asia. In Europe, I started learning that wine is not about alcohol. I discovered that the flavors in wine has an effect on one's emotions. The minute you like the flavor, the texture, the aroma, you smile. But if you don't like it, your face changes. Right? So that's why today, when I let somebody taste my wine, I don't even ask them if you like it or not. I just watch very closely on their facial expression. Then I know whether they like it or not. But it does not mean to say that if the facial expression is no good, it means say it's a bad wine.
Yeah.
He or she just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Because taste is a personal preference.
Yeah.
And even a growing up adaptation.
Yeah.
Same way as, let's say, just take the Philippines. Visayas and Luzon. Most of the Filipino food in Luzon have some sugar. In Visaya, very little, almost none. Both are correct. That's how they grew up with. But there's such a thing as good and bad wine. There's such a thing. But the preference has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. Kaya sinabi nyo ako yung sa facial expression, ang problema niyan sir, paano ko yung pinainom nyo kabobotox lang? Nakatuwid na tuwid mo yun. Hindi makakayak yun.
Hindi, walang movement.
Walang movement
That
sir.
is no.
Okay sir, alam niyo sir, kilalang kilala po ang mga wines, ang Manny O Wines. At nakakatuwa po na as an entrepreneur, you told me that sometimes you have to embrace the irony. At yun nga, ikaw nga ironic.
Yeah.
You don't like yung high spirits na mga alcohol.
Yeah.
But now you are a wine lover. That's wine. O, kita nyo, pati yung that's wine natin, nagiging that's wine. Ano po? That's why, ang tanong ko po sa inyo, sir, nung pumasok na po kayo sa industriyang ito na that your business now is about wine, ano yung naging sign sa inyo that you are into something big?
Okay. I think the sign came to me not exactly a confirmation, but instead a trial.
Okay.
In fact,
That's good.
this is what I want to tell you. Because breaking into the wine business was a calculated decision. I saw that Asia, especially China, in the last decade, have started to love the Western culture of life. And wine happens to be one of them. So I saw that there is a very big potential for Asia. And you know, the biggest consumer in Asia, I would say China, would you not agree with me? That's why I said you have to be crazy, a little crazy. So when I started making up my mind that I'm going to produce wine, I'm going to create wine, because I personally understand flavors, I can create food recipes.
Yeah.
So I know I could be a good wine blender. So I started experimenting wine blending in 2004. So my first wine that I blended and produced, I didn't like it. So I asked my partner winery in France, I said, let us just sell it in the open market.
Okay.
We didn't throw it because there's a lot of open market that you just put any label and it is sold to many of the small restaurants,
Okay.
right?
No matter what.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But you have to sell it at a loss, you know?
Yeah.
So my first success was my 2006 vintage,
Okay.
which is the Discipolo Syrah. These were my first two wines.
Okay.
So the first vintage of these two wines was 2006 vintage.
Okay.
And I'll come back to you why I call it Discipulus later. I have a lot of wine friends already in Asia because I started collecting wine since the late 70s.
Yes.
So I have a lot of wine dealers and wine distributors in Hong Kong, Singapore. Do you know when I approach them, as much as they're my friends, they laugh at me. They said the wine tastes good, except you have no heritage. Because wine is about heritage.
Yes.
He said, we may like your wine, the price may be right, but because there's no heritage, we'll have a hard time selling. So it came as a difficult time.
Yes.
Nobody wants to accept a Filipino Chinese producing wine with no heritage.
No heritage.
Yeah. But remember, the business model was calculated, knowing that there's a new market that's going to be a big growth. But the implementation was a difficult time. So because of that, it challenged me. But I appreciated my good friends' real opinion and comments.
Yes.
Because if they're not my true friends,
Yes.
they would patronize, they would talk to me in, pleasant sounding words, but won't put me anywhere. So because they realized that they cannot sell my wines.
Yeah.
Because there's no heritage. I said I'm going to prove to them and to the world that my wine can be sold. So this is the reason why I need a third-party validation.
Okay.
So that's why I started participating globally in competitions that are recognized legit wine competitions. That was how I tackled the market, using third-party validation. Because of that, today we have 2 trophies, 1 best of class, and 235 awards from 14 countries.
Wow.
Yeah. And because of that, all these people who said, I cannot sell your wine, starting able to sell my wines,
Okay.
because they know the wine is good, the price is right. Except they needed that third-party validation for the customers that goes into the store to want to buy your wine. In fact, in the Philippines, we are actually the most popular single wine brand in the Philippines, the Manny O Wines. That's where I came from, and that's where we are now.
Ito ho ang tanong ko sa inyo as an entrepreneur. Hindi ho ba kayo natatakot na maari hong makopya po ang inyong ginagawa sa mga nakwentuhan po ninyo?
Hindi, I'll tell you why.
Manny O is an award-winning wine blender. So far, he has earned 235 awards from 11 countries such as France, UK, Germany, Spain, USA, Japan, and Hong Kong. Hindi ho ba kayo natatakot na maari hong makopya po ang inyong ginagawa sa mga nakwentuhan po ninyo?
Hindi, I'll tell you why.
Bakit po?
Because hindi ko matanggal yung olfactory sensors ko sa mouth ko, ilipat sa ibang tao.
Tama.
Hindi nila makukuha yan.
Tama.
Ito hindi lang tama.
Oo.
Olfactory sensors above the esophagus.
Oo.
That is thousands.
Buong ulo ho yun.
That is thousands of flavor sensors.
Yeah.
Right? And its taste is preferential. And actually, the way I did my wine also is this. I produce wines from the old world. The old world, considered old world, the main considered old world countries producing wine is France, Italy, Spain, and Portugal.
Yeah.
That's why I produce my wine. So I produce wine from the old world to fit the Asian palate and to pair with the Asian food. You may ask me, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Very simple. Wines were produced for the Western culture. And the Western culture's food, a big majority has one component in it, which is dairy.
Dairy.
Cream, cheese, or milk.
That's right. That's right. I agree.
Asian cuisine, or even the new global cuisine, has very little dairy.
Yeah.
In Asian, it's almost none.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
Literally almost none.
Yes.
In fact, if you talk about Asian regional cuisine, the only thing that's close to dairy is coconut milk. Correct?
Which you find, it's practically in all halos. Yes.
Diba? Or they eat a lot of meat. The whole slab of meat in itself is
Yeah.
a lot of fat.
Yeah.
Correct? A lot of oil. So that's why the type of wine that has to be produced for their cuisine, if it's a white wine, it has to be a little more acidic. If it's a red wine, it has to be a little more tannic. Ours, an acidic white wine, doesn't work with our food. Doesn't fit our palate. Simple. In fact, even ice cream. In Asia, the ice cream produced are slightly sweeter.
That's right.
You see?
Compared to that.
Yes, because you have to fit the market. So this is why Manny O Wines is about producing great wines from the old world, but creating it and blending it to fit the taste of the
Of the
Asian
local
palate.
brand.
And to pair with the Asian food. That's why we have gained success so fast,
Yeah.
because of that reason. Now, going to the entrepreneurial scenes, we are basically encouraging young entrepreneurs how to do business.
Yeah.
Right? So you saw what I said. An entrepreneur is a visionary. Is an explorer. Is a conqueror. Does it sound like it applied to what I did with my wine? I had a vision that I could produce old world wine to fit the Asian palate. And this is a new growing market. Huge market. Will become even bigger. Probably will be the biggest in the world. Right?
Yes.
Right? The West is already so threatened with the Asian economy. Correct? So that's the vision. So I explored. I did my exploration. Difficult time. But I didn't give up. You conquer.
Yeah. I do believe that really the secret of a successful entrepreneur is when art and science kiss.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
In fact, producing wine in the old world used to be 80% art and 20% science. Okay? But because of technology, especially the newer wines, no, it is actually 60% or science and 40% art. No?
Yes.
But in Manny O Wine, I still stick to the old tradition of 60% art and 40% science, the other way around. So I'm literally using the gift that God has given me, the gift of very sensitive taste and sensitive nose. And because I'm born Asian, my growing up adaptation and cultural adaptation is Asian, I know exactly what fits my food. While a Western man who is a master wine blender, they will have a problem creating a wine that fits the Asian food because they have not eaten. Me, I ate it since I was born.
That's right.
That's why I have a lot of winemakers in the wineries that I partner with to produce my wine. When I start blending and creating my wine. Now, every time I'm there, they want to take a few hours learning from me. Why do you call this fitting the Asian palate? So I would joke with him, like Nelson in Portugal, I'd say, Nelson, unless I can transfer my tongue and my olfactory sensor to you,
The only way.
it's very hard for me to explain, but I'm going to give you some idea on how it works. You know why? Because all of them now wants to sell to Asia. They all want to sell to Asia.
Yeah.
And you said, am I not afraid na kopyahin? No, you know why? I will, the day that somebody can take my business model and make it better, I'll say hallelujah, because that's progress.
That's right.
And as far as I'm concerned, my business, by that time, the brand Manny O would have went way ahead.
That's right. Ano pa po yung ibang mga challenges na hinarap po ninyo at inuduktong ko na rin po bago nyo pa po masagot na?
Okay.
Ano po?
Yeah.
Paano nyo hinarap yung mga challenges na yun?
Okay, until today, those challenges are still there. You know, even with the validation of awards from 14 countries, I still have people who are hesitant to carry your product or to sell your product. So because of that, this is why the things that we've been doing on marketing side on the wine business is, the philosophy is to get our wines to be tasted by as many mouths as possible, as fast as possible. Because the taste says it all. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
That's right. That's right.
And that was also the reason why, since our first vintage in 2006, we did not sign up for the Philippines. We did not sign up with a country distributor until last year.
Okay.
Because I wanted first my wine, especially with the social media or internet, my wine to be somehow known and people looking for it before I started putting it in all the shelves of the stores. So as of December 1st, starting December 1st last year, it's now being distributed by Asia Brewery because they have the network of the logistics. So having said that, the plan is between December 1st to middle of this year, to June, our wines will be in over 3,000 stores in the Philippines, supermarkets,
Great.
including even 7-Elevens, you know, all these convenience stores. So it's very accessible. And that was one of the things, the challenges, that I had to plan it. I cannot just put it in the market.
Yeah.
How did I handle the challenges? To get it out to be tasted. And when they taste, people who blog in the social media are free advertising.
Yeah.
And that's viral.
Yeah.
So that's the fastest way to do it. But you will be afraid to get it tasted if you know your wine is no good. Because the negative comments will also be viral.
That's right.
It's balance it. It's fair. You have to make a very good product. That's very important. You have to make a very good product at the price commensurate to the product. Then you will have a business.
That's right. It's very primordial in any
Yes.
business segment.
Basic.
Basic. That's
It's
right.
very, very basic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bukod po sa gusto nyong makapasok ang Manny O Wines sa halos lahat ng tindahan para matikman ng maraming bunganga. Di ba? Parang ganun yun.
Yes,
Exactly. Di ba? Kung pwede lang kung paulanin natin. Di ba?
Yes.
Ng wine at lahat ng mga Pinoy ay nganganga.
I love that concept. Wine is ready.
That's right.
All you need to do is just
That's right. Ang bilis mo ng marketing yun. At naniniwala po kasi ako sa Pinoy. Pag ang Pinoy, tama kayo doon. Ang psyche natin, pag nagustuhan ka, hanapin ka. At naniniwala nga ako like what I was talking to a because I do consultancies also for other companies in marketing and branding.
You have to be a very good marketer.
Yeah, I was telling them that I was asking the owner, sir, what do you want your company to become? Well, my company is doing good. So, what's next? I want it to be doing very good. So I said, after very good, what's next? I want it to be great. Okay, after greatness, what's next? I want it to be excellent. But sir, after excellence, what's next? And he said, meron pa ba? Meron pa, sir. Your company or your product must be significant.
Yeah.
When we say the product is significant, people cannot live without having it.
Yes, exactly.
At
That's a very good.
Sir,
Very good.
at naniniwala po ako that the best marketing and even sales plan must come from that. Like, understanding, kanina ko po kayo tinitingnan, honestly. Talagang napaka-passionate nyo po. Daig nyo ba po ang lasing? Pag nagtikwento. Ayun nga po, sir. Yun ang itatanong ko nga sa inyo because nararamdaman ko po kasi na alam niyo po yung brand eh. Sometimes, sir, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Na, may nagtanong sa akin, what is a brand? I said, a brand is not the logo. For example, when we see Manny O, that's not the brand.
Yeah.
So what's the brand? Is it the wine? Not even. Not even. Whenever, for example, we drink a bottled water with this brand, the brand is not the logo. The brand is not even the liquid. For this case, the wine. So what is the brand? The brand is the promise.
Yeah.
If ever I want to drink wine, what practically I'm buying is the promise of Manny O Wines.
It's almost contractual.
Precisely.
Exactly. You're right.
So what's your advice to our aspiring entrepreneurs, and how do you think they will be able, like you, in your own respect? Because Manny O Wines, whether you like it or not, the Manny O Wines, nasusupresid niya pati yung nag-create nito, di ba? Nag-invento nito. Ano yung maipapayo niyo po sa ating mga aspiring entrepreneurs na wag nilang dapat kalimutan sa paggawa ng kanilang negosyo in the future?
I would say, dream big. Work hard, never quit, and leave the rest to God. That's a simple way of approaching it.
Alam mo sir, ang gusto ko lang i-highlight sa sinabi ninyo is that I really honor entrepreneurs na put emphasis on the truth that nothing can ever be done without God's providence.
In fact, that is my life's, the Bible verse that I adopted to become my life's verse. Is in the book of John chapter 15 verse 5.
Okay.
And this happened after God changed my heart when my first wife contracted cancer and died at 41.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes. Because before that, I was I never recognized that the gift that I have, the passion that I have, came from Him. So I thought it was all about me.
Okay.
That's why it was through the trial, the most difficult trial in my life, that my first wife passed away at 41, that God changed my heart. And through that time, I was really searching, and I realized my biggest sin is admiring me and worshiping me. That was the biggest sin. That's why, and I came across the verse in the book of John chapter 15 verse 5 that basically goes, God is saying, for without me you can do nothing. That's what it is.
Ang maganda po na nakita ko at na-realize ko ngayong sikreto ng tagumpay ninyo bilang isang negosyante at magandang malaman ng ating mga tagapanood ay ito po. Kasi na nung nagkikwentuhan tayo tungkol sa pananampalatayang inilagay ninyo, teary-eyed na ho kayo na parang yung mga wine nyo ho lumalabas na ho sa mata nyo. Sir. At ako nararamdaman ko po kasi na ngayon ko rin nare-realize na ang sikreto ng tagumpay hindi lang ng isang tao kundi ng isang negosyante ay ito. Siya ay may pangarap. Pangarap. At yung pangarap hindi para sa sarili. Pangalawa, siya ay masipag. Pangatlo, siya ay punong-puno ng pananampalataya. Pero higit sa lahat, ito'y pinapakita niya sa pagmamalasakit sa iba. And I believe, sir, na now that I have met you in person, because pag nakikita ko sa negosyo, malalaking event, I have no chance. Naniniwala po ako na minsan kasi akala ko ng mga tagapanood namin, ang aming mga pinipicture na negosyante ay mga robot na magagaling lang, ano? Pero ngayon pong ipinakita nyo sa amin at natutuwa ako na itong mga alak ninyo at negosyo nyo, hindi lang punong-puno ng espiritu ng inumin, kundi punong-puno ng espiritu ng totoong Pilipino. Nakakatuwa ko na ginagawa ko natin itong interview ito sa pagkatapos ng pagbisita ng Papa. And I think, ang pinaalala niya sa atin ay yung katotohanan we were created to be great not just of our endeavors but because of our service to others.
Yeah, in fact, this is why when I was invited by Joey to be one of the panelists in the Cebu last December, I said, I started late thinking about how can you call a truly successful entrepreneur, because before, until I celebrated 60 years old, was to create a great product, work very hard, make a lot of money, and put everything in your pocket. But after that, when I turned 60 and I saw this devastation, I learned that a truly successful entrepreneur is to do all of that, create a great product, make a lot of money, put a portion in your pocket, and use the other portion to help pick up people who need hope. So, my advice to young upcoming entrepreneurs is that I started late, but you can start young. You know, build a business model, but always think of the surroundings outside your comfort zone. Because when they become standard of living is lifted, your business will become bigger. Because they'll be your consumers. That's a true success. We cannot just be hiding in the four walls of our beautiful offices or of our beautiful businesses and just enjoy without climbing the walls and look out of the window and to learn what's happening outside. That's why when we went to Bantayan Island on all these places to do groundbreaking for the houses. And you're able to touch and feel the people there who are suffering.
And losing hope.
Losing hope, it humbles me. In fact, it makes me a lot more grateful to what God has given me. It's to learn and realize how blessed I am. So more thankful. More contented.
Yes.
The true joy is contentment. It's not having more.
That's right.
After all, today, when people buy something, the first question that comes to mind is how do I feel about what I paid for? Right? Otherwise, if you count the value for money in the product, where does a 200,000 peso bag give you the value for money?
I would tell businessmen not to be worried that people will copy you. Let them.
Yeah.
That will be your true success.
Yeah.
The mere fact, even on the ego side, that they
Yes.
copy you,
Yeah.
it already means you're
Yeah.
successful. Otherwise, nobody will copy you.
That's right. That's right.
See? So, in all angles, it makes sense.
It makes sense. That's
It
right.
makes sense.
That's right.
Diba?
That's
So, and I'm glad that the Manny O Wine now is gaining global market acceptance.
That's right.
I'm now in 7 countries. Sold in 7 countries.
Yes.
China, Hong Kong,
That's right.
Thailand, Switzerland, Germany, Philippines, Singapore.
That's right.
And I'm praying and working very hard that I will have 25 countries. I'll be selling to 25 countries in the next 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So it becomes a global brand. And we've been already on board Cathay Pacific Airways.
That's right.
We've been on board Philippine Airlines. And it's very hard to get into the airline because there's thousands who wants to get in. They're willing to sell it at a very low price. And still, the validation of the quality, they invite all professionals to taste your wine. But it's all God's grace and blessing.
That's right.
That's talking about the way the Lord showed me that He has given me so much, right? He could have decided that I stay there.
Yeah.
I stay small, right?
Yeah. But He widened your horizon, your
Exactly.
territory.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, like Jabez.
That's right. When he prayed, Lord,
Yeah.
enlarge my territory. At naniniwala ko, sir, before we end this interview on the business aspect of your life as an entrepreneur, is that you were right in saying that clients come back because of the feeling of joy of what they felt when they tasted the wine.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll end with this with these thoughts that I remember the story of our friends from Egypt that they believe that when they die, before they enter heaven,
Yes.
the gods will ask them only 2 questions. Number 1, have you found your joy?
Yeah.
But the second question is, have you brought joy to others?
Yes. That's true.
And I do believe that when we have answered the second question first, truly we have answered also the first.
Of course.
Because when we have brought joy to others,
Yeah.
that's the real definition of our own.
Because that's an overflow of joy
That's right.
from you.
That's right.
You know. That's why do not store it.
That's right.
Let it overflow.
And we wish Manny O and all your business segments to grow. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Bless
the
God.
segment.
You did well to that.
Thank you, sir.
God bless
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Ito na pala.
I let you taste our award-winning bubbly, which is produced in Limoux, south of France.
South of France.
Limoux.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is champagne.
It cannot be called champagne, but it is method champenois.
Each one is designed to serve a purpose, such as to pair with a particular style of food, to match with a person's mood, or just simply to be enjoyed. Ito na pala.
I let you taste our award-winning bubbly, which is produced in Limoux, south of France.
South of France.
Limoux.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is champagne.
It cannot be called champagne, but it is method champenois.
Okay.
Mapahaba na tayo mag-usap nito because when I start talking about wine, if you think I am mahaba yung sinasabi kong iba, mas mahaba pa pag wine na.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. So, if the audience and you could go and research it, no? But before we do that, let's taste first.
Okay.
Okay. I swirl mo. Nakita mo? pinong, parang marshmallow yung bubbles ko.
Totoo, butas mo ata ito eh, nawala ho yung laman.
The way to identify a good bubbly is the bubbles should be fino
Okay.
and hindi matulis.
Yes.
And hindi malaki. Parang feeling mo creamy and saka
Yeah.
marshmallow ang taste mo. Okay. Talking about, since you mentioned the word champagne. In Reims and Epernay, which is the Champagne region,
Okay.
they made champagne about 100 years after Limoux.
Okay.
Limoux was ahead early in the 1500s,
Okay.
while these Saint Benedictine sisters and monks
Okay.
were making white wine. They realized that there was too much. They only realized later that because of too much yeast, the white wine started popping after a few weeks
Okay.
because effervescence started to build up in the bottle.
Okay.
So they realized if they dose yeast in a white wine, it can create effervescence in the bubbles.
Yes.
So 100 years later, Dom Perignon, also Saint Benedictine monk,
Yeah.
Dom is monk from the Champagne region, went to look at what these people are doing and started producing champagne, white wine that has bubbles. And in Limoux, I'm sure your audience want to research it. They can research it. It's early 1500s at an abbey in Saint Hilaire. Saint Benedictine sisters and monks accidentally discovered how to make white wine with bubbles. But of course, today, a lot of bubbly is not method champenois. It's white wine dosed with carbonate.
Carbonate.
But that's not champagne. That's not anymore the same. The taste is not the same. The bubbles are bigger. You know, it's coarser, not as fine.
Bakit to, napansin ko nga, sa mga wine,
Yeah.
may mga keso-keso pa.
But
Okay.
your question about why are there cheese and wine, no? Or cheese and champagne? Because certain cheeses goes with certain wines, it pairs very well. Yeah, it does pair very well.
Okay. Now, important elements and factors in creating good wine.
Okay, very important. The wine is only dependent in three main factors.
Okay.
Soil of the growing region, weather of the growing season, and character of the winemaker.
Okay.
That's why you cannot create a good wine if you plant your grapes in a soil that is not fit to produce grapes for wines. Like soil that are very wet. Meaning soil that is great for planting rice and corn will be horrendous to plant grapes for wine.
Okay.
Second, even if you have great soil, if that year, the growing season, happens to be too much rain or too much sun, it also cannot create great wines. If there's too much rain, the grapes will have too much water content, too much humidity. So because of that, the wine will be very thin. It would not have enough elements inside to evolve and age.
Okay.
Or the third thing, the winemaker could mess it up.
Okay.
Even if God provides you with a great soil, great weather,
But the attitude and the character.
And still
That's
messy.
right. Wow. Now I'm excited, sir, to taste the next wine.
okay, that wine, actually we have 8 wines, but
Okay.
I'll just show you this.
Itong Vivo.
It was not chilled because I did not order it earlier. Okay, never mind. Okay, this Vivo, out of my 8 wines, is the budget plus wine. No? You can taste it, you can tell me whether you like it or not. No? Yeah, I'll tell you. The best way to hold a glass is use these 2 fingers and all these 3 below.
Oh.
This one below also.
Oh.
Okay.
Even that, you want it below.
Alam mo, baso na.
Oh, yes.
Para madaliin mo ikutin.
Okay, why do we do that?
Because you want the flavor to open up. So
Okay.
you could appreciate the flavor.
So that's the reason why they're doing that.
That's why we're doing it.
Okay.
If it's a good wine, when it's a good wine, you appreciate the flavor by doing so. But if it's a bad wine, the minute you do that, you smell all the bad smell. So, you know.
Okay.
So, please taste it.
Okay. Yes.
It's a beautiful wine.
Yeah.
And this wine should be drunk very cold. The Vivo.
My mom will like this wine.
I know.
Yeah. But it's out of stock.
No, it was stock again.
Again.
In classification, in the European community, this is called VCE. Van de Communauté Européenne. Because this is an appellation champagne.
Nosebleed ho yun, sir. Ha? Dumudugo na pag sinabi, Van de... Okay, it tastes good.
Van de Communauté Européenne.
Nosebleed ka na. Ba't dumudugo ilong niya? Okay. So ano pong ibig sabihin nun, sir?
No, that's a classification.
Okay.
It means, because marami, may VCE, VDP, you know, AOC,
Okay.
you know, all of that. Yeah. So maraming classification. This is what you call the classification that, because all these wines carries a certificate origin
Okay.
from its origin country, because wine is very regulated.
Okay.
And the only time you can go into competition if your wine has a stamp of the origin with its regulated application, applied with the regulated classification.
Sir, can you name some patrons of Manny O na talaga namang has been so loyal to getting the products of Manny O? Okay.
I can tell you that a lot of, from businessmen to bankers to friends from the media of mine and talk show hosts or politicians, right? Lawmakers or right? And mga artistas. They're all my patrons. In fact, the audience should check with social media, then they will know.
Sir, what is the advocacy so close to your heart and the Manny O group?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, my advocacy has
Manny O regards life with optimism, gratitude to God, and passion in everything he commits into. Sir, what is the advocacy so close to your heart and the Manny O group?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, my advocacy has changed since I celebrated my 60th birthday 2 years ago.
Okay.
Now it's about being an entrepreneur that not only
Excuse me.
to make money for my pocket or for my organization, but also to be able to make a lot of money but allocate a portion of it, a fairly good sized portion of it, to go and give hope and pick up people who has no hope
Okay.
because it was lost due to circumstances beyond their control, like calamities. And because of this advocacy I started, I've approached a lot of my friends who are big businessmen, Caetans, and they're all very, very supportive. And in my little way, I want to be a model, or how, the way Tony Melotto puts it, you'll be the conscientia.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So this is what I want my advocacy to be. That is why we've changed the philosophy, the business philosophy or the corporate philosophy of the Manny O Group. We are now working for a higher purpose,
Okay.
because the normal purpose would be you work for a company, the head of the company, you make money to enlarge the business, make money for the business, and your team makes money so they could put bread in the table of their family,
That's right.
send their children to school. But with this, it's not only me. My entire team knows that we are all now together working for a higher purpose, because every single one of the few thousand people that works in my organization are working for a higher purpose now.
And because you're so sensitive to what's going on, especially with the calamities that
Yes, yes.
went through our country at the sufferings that our kababayans experience.
Yes.
Now you're dreaming of this how or hospital on wheels. Can you tell us briefly about this?
Yes. This is a very ambitious prayer and dream and work that I want to do, because the way we look at it, to be able to deploy 3 sets of hospital on wheels, because a set is 3 vehicle, fully equipped with, cutting edge operating theater, cutting edge diagnostic laboratories. It's a 500 million peso project that I'm looking at, which would make 9 vehicles, 3 sets of vehicles that can be deployed even when there's no road. So it has to be all terrain. So far, we're targeting and praying and working very hard to have our initial prototype to be launched within this year.
Wow.
This is a non-profit project that we're doing.
And you're also made so many tie-ups and the partnership with Gawad Kalinga.
Yes, with Gawad Kalinga, because I invited Tony Meloto to become one of my founding trustee of this foundation for Hospital on Wheels. But we've started immediately with Gawad Kalinga building typhoon-proof houses for the Yolanda victims and the earthquake victims in northern Cebu, Madre de Dios, Alang-Alang Leyte, in the Sagbayan Bohol, and also in Hernani Samar.
Okay.
We're building 40 houses each for each community. So it's 160 houses, but we intend to continue doing that this year.
Wow.
By God's grace.
Beautiful. No? If you are to name one winning attitude that brought you to success, what is it and why?
God's gift.
Okay.
One word is simple. Everything I have, everything in me. Now I realize, I recognize through the trials I went through in my life, it's God's gift.
Your faith in
Everything
God.
that is in me is how I react, how I work, how I think, how I feel, how I relate.
God's gift.
That's God's gift.
What is the best part of being an entrepreneur?
Today, I would say the best part of being an entrepreneur is if I don't, hindi ako kumikita, hindi ako makatulong. Right? When there is no source, meaning in short, like what Klaus Schwab said during the World Economic Forum, charity is not sustainable without economic progress. So I think that would be the best tool any entrepreneur, that they have to be able to identify that they have that tool, they can really do something or do a lot. As you said, to bless other people.
Sir, we're about to finish our interview.
Yeah.
But the wines really taste good.
It's good,
you know?
Thank you.
Can I ask you, sir, what is your life mantra?
That when I look up to heaven, God will smile. And when I look down to earth, people will smile.
Beautiful. In your entrepreneurial journey, what's the greatest lesson you've learned?
Okay. Comfort is bad for man.
Okay.
Hardship builds character. That's what I learned.
Okay.
I've gone through a lot of hardships, a lot of trials. And I know that is what's building me to be better. That's what I learned.
Kampay, sir. Thank you very much. Cool. Go Negosyantes, maraming salamat po sa pagsama niyo sa amin. Sana'y nakapulot po kayo ng inspirasyon at practical business tips na makakatulong sa inyong pagnenegosyo. See you again next week. Ako po si Michael Angelo at ito ang SME Go, powered by Go Negosyo.
Let's go! Kinabukasan ay gawin nating makulay. Sama-sama na tayo sa tagumpay. Pilipinas ngayon na ang oras. Tayo'y umasenso na. Let's go Pinoy! tara magnegosyo na. Let's go Pinoy! Kung sa business kayo ay may success, kung ang ideya nyo'y truly the best, kung hanap ninyo ay isang kasosyo, let's go! Let's go!